Hey everyone, so in this tutorial I am showing you how to create an indicator, like a visual indicator in Articulate Storyline using some JavaScript. I'm by no means an expert in JavaScript, so I did solicit input from ChatGPT, which was great. We had to iterate a few times, but basically this was brought out of having two interactions. So we first had kind of a show me, like a show walking the learner through how to do something in an interface. And then we had a test me. So the show me's were guided with highlights and callouts and um, like prompts and all of that good stuff. And then the test me was basically um, the learner having to select a correct area. And so we had some invisible hotspots, right? So we had the correct and then the incorrect. But as you can see, we have the correct sitting on top of the incorrect. But the problem here is that one, there's no visual indicators. So even if I preview this and click around, we're not going to see anything happen. So I'm clicking and there's nothing to indicate that I've selected anything, right? And then if we did add an indicator, because like an outline or a glow or something, because it goes around this entire space, it also includes the correct response. So even if they click somewhere that's not correct and they get the incorrect feedback, it's confusing, right? And so what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, this is what I want. Can you give me some code? And it said, sure, we'll give you some code. And I had to iterate on it because initially and let me just show you the code. So I'm going to copy from over here. I'm going to paste this on our timeline. And so when I preview this now, you see an indicator wherever I click. And you can still submit and it will mark correct or incorrect, but at least there's a visual indicator. And so basically what I did was let's go into the JavaScript for a second here. I first said, hey, ChatGPT, this is what I want. I want a visual indicator. So it gave me the visual indicator, but then we ran into several issues. So the first issue was that if the learner clicked the full screen button on the player, the indicator disappeared. It didn't work. And so I needed to have ChatGPT iterate on the code for that. Another issue that we had was on if I selected and placed an indicator on the base layer and then got the incorrect or correct feedback, you would see the it on, and let me see, I haven't added code to the correct or incorrect layer yet, so we might be able to see that. So I'm putting this here, and then yes, so you can see that my indicator is also persisting on the base layer. So we had to do a couple of things. So basically here's the code, and I will include this down below so you can download these codes, and maybe I'll add like a README. But basically what this says is apply the indicator, and you can customize it as well. So I added 5px and then I specified the color I wanted. So add the indicator, and then and make it persistent. And then there's a little line that says basically if like we're gonna have another trigger on the base layer or on the layers that set the indicator to false. And so what that's going to do is prevent it from showing up on the layers. So first, the code is going to be pasted on the base layer or included on the base layer. So you're going to do a new trigger, and it's going to be an execute JavaScript, and then you will enter in this code, all of this code, that again will be included down below, onto your base layer, and you want it to be there when the timeline starts. So then we've got a couple of things. So for the try again layer, we want the indicator to reset, like not show up on the layer, but also to reset when the learner clicks try again. So we are going to include two more pieces of JavaScript. So the first one is when the timeline starts, and this is basically to set the indicator to false. And that's going to be when the timeline starts. And then when the learner clicks the button, we've got everything kind of like resetting. So the important thing here, though, for the button is that you need to have it as the first trigger, because if you have it after the hide layer, it's not going to execute appropriately. And so then we're going to take that same timeline starts execute JavaScript, and we're going to paste that. So it's the same, just to prevent the indicator from showing up on the layers. And we're going to paste that on our correct and incorrect layer. And so you'll see that we've got JavaScript when the timeline starts on the base layer. We have JavaScript when the timeline starts on the incorrect and correct layers. And then we have JavaScript when on the try again layer when the timeline starts, as well as on the button click for the try again layer. And so the important thing again is that this trigger is above the hide layer trigger. So now when we preview this, we're going to see our indicator, and then we're not going to see the indicator on the try again layer. And then it's reset. And then we are now seeing the indicator get placed again and not get placed on the layer. So all that to say, I'm not a JavaScript guru, so I'm not going to walk you through every single line of this JavaScript and explain what everything does. But I am going to include it in down below, and I will hopefully this helps you out as well, because I think that having an indicator like this could be useful for multiple applications. So